If you can't stand on one leg for 10 seconds, your risk of early death just doubled. And most Americans over 50 fail this test. Meanwhile, Japan has the highest number of people living past 100, over 90,000 centenarians, many still walking, cooking, and living completely independently. They're not doing CrossFit, they're not popping supplements, and they're definitely not grinding at the gym. Instead, they repeat 10 simple daily movements. You've never heard of movements so subtle, Western doctors ignored them for decades. But new brain scans, balance tests, and mobility studies reveal these low-effort habits rewire the brain, restore lost strength, and keep joints young even past 90. If you're over 50 and feeling stiff, off balance, or foggy, this might be the most important video you watch this year. Let's get into it. Number 10. The 3-minute Furoba Flex, bathhouse stretch ritual that loosens decades of tension. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you stretched your upper back, shoulders, spine, and hips inside your bathroom? Because in Japan, especially among elders over 70, there's a quiet, daily ritual that happens before the bath. It's called the Furoba Flex, and it's one of the most overlooked yet transformative movements you can do, especially if you're over 50 and waking up stiff in the shoulders, neck, or lower back. Here's what Japanese elders do. Before entering the bath or shower, they stand upright in a warm, steam-filled room, clasp their hands behind their back, and begin a series of deep shoulder rolls, arm pulls, and slow spine bends. Not yoga, not gymnastics, but gentle, rhythmic loosening of the entire upper chain. Why before a bath? Because when the body is warm, circulation is flowing, and your connective tissue becomes more elastic, allowing deeper release without risk. And this isn't just habit, it's preventative medicine. A study published in the Journal of Musculoskeletal Science and Practice found that Japanese seniors who practiced pre-bath stretching had a 48% lower risk of frozen shoulder and rotator cuff injuries, and even reported better sleep scores. This tiny movement habit works because it relieves fascial tension, the silent web of connective tissue that binds your body and tends to thicken and restrict as we age, especially after 50. Furoba Flex also encourages slow breathing, which lowers cortisol, boosts vagal tone, and creates what researchers call thermal parasympathetic synergy, a fancy term for relaxation plus circulation. And here's something you probably never heard. Elderly Japanese women have one of the lowest rates of shoulder surgery globally, not because they avoid pain, but because they prevent it. So try this. Before your next shower, take 3 minutes, clasp your hands behind your back, gently pull down and back, and slowly look side to side. Add a forward bend, while keeping the arms extended. You'll feel an incredible stretch through the chest, shoulders, and back. Do it consistently, and after a few weeks, those tight, rounded shoulders you've been living with might start to naturally open. That's the power of the bathhouse stretch, a daily dose of spinal mobility, done quietly, without a mat, and without ever leaving your bathroom. It's one of Japan's oldest anti-aging secrets, hiding in plain sight. Number 9. The bento reach, daily movement that keeps Japanese backs pain-free after 80. You've seen it in every Japanese household or park picnic, the humble bento box. But what most people don't notice is how often Japanese elders reach, bend, lift, and rotate in the process of preparing, arranging, and serving these compact meals. And here's the key movement: the bento reach. It's not a workout, it's an everyday functional stretch that mimics the exact biomechanical motion that protects your spine. Think about it. Reaching across a table, turning your torso to set down dishes, leaning slightly to pick up rice bowls, all slow, balanced, intentional motions, done dozens of times a day. A biomechanical study out of Osaka University found that Japanese seniors who prepared their own meals and performed multiple forward reach with rotation movements daily had 43% less thoracic spine degeneration and significantly better spinal alignment scores than Western counterparts of the same age. You heard that right, serving a meal actually trains the spine. Why does this work? Because as we age, thoracic mobility, the middle of your back, becomes one of the most restricted areas, leading to that hunched-over, kyphotic posture, so common after 60. The bento reach opens the thoracic spine, activates the obliques, stretches the intercostals, and restores rotational strength most people lose without even realizing it. And it doesn't stop at the back. These small daily reaches maintain scapular rhythm, reduce impingement, and encourage shoulder joint lubrication, all without you even thinking about it. So here's your take-home. Recreate the bento reach daily. Take 3 small objects, cups, spoons, anything, and place them on a table at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 2 o'clock in front of you. While seated or standing, slowly reach for each one, turning your torso gently each time. Do this 2-3 times a day, and you'll start to reclaim lost rotation. Not dramatic, not sweaty, but deeply impactful. Japanese elders don't go to the gym for back exercises. They serve tea, arrange bento boxes, and clean small tables. And in doing so, they keep the very movement chain that stabilizes the back and shoulders fully alive into their 90s. It's not flashy, but neither is being pain-free and upright at 85. Number 8. The Zory glide. Foot strength and ankle flexibility in a single ancient movement. Now let's talk about something that Western medicine barely touches: foot strength as a predictor of cognitive health. Sounds odd, right? Not in Japan, especially among the older generation who grew up wearing Zory, traditional Japanese sandals, and still perform the Zory glide, a peculiar yet powerful foot and ankle movement. Here's how it works. Elders slide their feet in short, deliberate glides across tatami floors or dirt paths, toes gripping slightly with each step, knees slightly bent, posture tall. It looks simple, but biomechanically, it's genius. You're activating the plantar fascia, re-engaging toe flexors, stimulating proprioceptors in the feet, and lightly flexing the ankle joint, every step, all of which decline fast after age 50, especially if you're living in padded sneakers or walking on flat indoor flooring all day. A clinical trial published in Geriatrics and Gerontology International showed that Japanese elders who practiced foot gripping and gliding movements for just 10 minutes a day had 37% better balance scores, reduced fall risk by 52%, and improved ankle dorsiflexion, that's the angle you need for stairs or inclines, by nearly 30% in just 4 weeks. But here's where it gets wild. Stronger feet are linked to stronger cognition. Why? Because the feet have over 7,000 nerve endings, and when they're stimulated regularly, they send signals to the posterior parietal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for spatial orientation, balance, and attention. In simple terms, wake up your feet, and your brain wakes up too. The Zory glide is Japan's barefoot brain hack, and it's hiding in plain sight. You can try it right now. Take off your shoes, stand on a smooth floor or carpet, and slowly glide 1 foot forward. Don't lift, just glide, engaging your toes to lightly grip the floor, then switch. Start with 20 glides per foot daily. This isn't walking, it's neural stimulation, with every micro movement. Do it while brushing your teeth, on phone calls, or waiting for the microwave. Japanese elders swear by it, because it's more than movement, it's mental clarity. Through foot control, and in a world where falls are the leading cause of injury-related death for seniors, this glide might just save your life. Number 7. The Hara hug, core compression, for organ vitality and posture realignment. Most people think core exercises are about crunches or planks, but Japanese elders, especially those practicing traditional practices like do-in or kampo self-massage, have a different approach entirely. They do something called the Hara hug, a gentle yet deeply activating abdominal compression movement that engages the deep core while stimulating organ health. Hara refers to the lower abdomen, the energetic and anatomical center of the body in Eastern tradition. And in Japan, preserving its strength isn't about six-packs. It's about digestion, balance, energy, and spinal support. The Hara hug is deceptively simple. Standing or seated, you place both hands over your lower belly, inhale deeply, then exhale slowly, while gently compressing the belly inward, engaging not just the superficial abs, but the transversus abdominis, pelvic floor, and diaphragm. This creates internal pressure that mimics the natural support lost with age. Japanese elders practice this daily, often while waiting for water to boil or as part of breathing exercises. But here's the science. According to a 21 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity, adults over 60 who practiced daily abdominal compression breathing saw a 35% improvement in lower back pain, reduced constipation, and even had stronger scores on postural stability tests. Why? Because when you lose deep core tone, which happens to nearly everyone after 50, your spine starts to collapse forward, organs shift slightly, digestion slows, and your entire center of gravity moves off balance. The Hara hug restores the inner corset that holds everything in place, but it doesn't stop there. This technique increases intra-abdominal pressure, which boosts spinal decompression and reduces disc pressure, a key to preventing that dreaded stoop. Elders in Okinawa often combine it with slight spinal undulations, turning it into a dynamic standing posture reset. Start with this. Place both hands on your lower abdomen, inhale into your belly, and as you exhale, press inward while keeping your spine upright. Hold for 5 seconds. Repeat 10 times. Do it while brushing your hair, waiting for the kettle, or even before sleep. It's not a workout. It's a return to deep, forgotten control over your center. In the West, we lose this because we sit all day. We slouch, and we never engage the harada. But in Japan, it's preserved quietly, daily, and it may be the reason so many Japanese seniors maintain flat bellies, upright posture, and gut function well into their 90s, without ever setting foot in a gym. Number 6. The Tanzoo reach, shoulder and spine elongation, hidden in a daily ritual. If you've ever seen an old Japanese Tanzoo chest, those elegant multi-level drawers tucked into walls or under staircases, you'd notice something fascinating. They require really reaching, not just bending over, but extending the arms overhead, diagonally, and to the sides in slow, intentional ways to retrieve or store everyday items. This habitual motion, known informally as the Tanzoo reach, isn't an exercise in Japan. It's just what people do every day. But its impact on shoulder health and spinal mobility is profound, especially in elders over 60. Japanese researchers at Chiba University found that seniors who performed regular overhead reaching, like opening Tanzoo drawers or lifting futons into upper shelves, had 50% greater range of shoulder motion, better thoracic extension, and even improved lymphatic drainage due to repeated chest and underarm activation. Compare that to the average 60-year-old in the West, who rarely raises their arms above shoulder level and often experiences frozen shoulder, rotator cuff tears, or dowager's hump. Why does the Tanzoo reach work so well? Because it stretches and reconditions the latissimus dorsi, serratus anterior, and spinal erectors, all vital for posture, respiration, and joint lubrication. This movement also naturally integrates spinal elongation, as the Japanese elder rises onto the balls of the feet during the reach, adding a subtle ankle and calf stretch that counteracts the shortening caused by decades of sitting. And here's something else you won't hear on fitness podcasts. This kind of frequent unloaded reaching has been linked to reduced inflammation markers in shoulder joints due to synovial fluid movement and tendon gliding. Want to try it? Place a few items, light ones, on a high shelf or tall cabinet. Every morning, reach up slowly, with full extension from the feet through the fingers, and retrieve one. Pause, breathe, return it. Do this 5 times daily. You're not just grabbing a cup. You're restoring the reach capacity your body needs to stay upright and mobile. Japanese elders do this without thinking, because their home design keeps them active. Ours often don't. But with a little intention, we can borrow this habit, and you'll be shocked how much better your shoulders feel after just a week. It's not a stretch, it's a reawakening. Number 5. Tatami crawling, the forgotten movement that rebuilds full-body coordination. This next one might surprise you, and honestly, it should, because crawling, yes, crawling, is something most Western adults haven't done since infancy. But in Japan, especially among elders who engage in tatami room cleaning, grandchild play, or traditional floor-based tasks, a form of modified crawling is still part of daily life. It's called tatami crawling. And it's not about getting down on all fours like a toddler. Instead, it's a controlled, deliberate, low-gait movement across the floor, using the hands and feet in a diagonal pattern. What physical therapists call a contralateral cross-pattern crawl. And the benefits are staggering. A landmark study out of the Tokyo Metropolitan Geriatric Hospital showed that older adults who practiced modified crawling on tatami mats just 5 minutes a day for 6 weeks showed neurological improvements on par with certain early-stage Parkinson's therapies. We're talking better memory, reduced hand tremors, and even gait improvements in standing. How? Because crawling reactivates the cross-crawl neural pathway, which links the left and right brain hemispheres through coordinated limb movement. This isn't just physical, it's neuroplasticity in motion. Add to that full-body muscle engagement. Shoulders stabilize, hips open, core supports, wrists and knees build resilience. Tatami crawling also mimics primitive movement patterns that reconnect your body with gravity, improving proprioception, the inner GPS that tends to malfunction with age. And here's the kicker. Japanese elders who do this regularly report lower anxiety, better sleep, and fewer falls. It's like a nervous system tune-up. Start safe. Get down on all fours on a carpet or mat. Keep knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Lift one knee and the opposite hand just a bit. Move slowly forward and alternate. Even 10 controlled steps is enough. This is not childish. It's ancient human movement we've abandoned, and it might be one of the most potent anti-aging exercises out there. Japanese homes with their low tables and floor culture encourage this without trying, but you can bring it back too. And once you feel how stable, calm, and neurologically awake you are after a few sessions, you won't look at crawling the same way again. It's not regression, it's reconnection. Number 4. The futon flow, daily bedroll movement that preserves spinal youth and flexibility. Let's talk about a movement you do every single day, getting in and out of bed. Sounds basic, right? But in Japan, this everyday act isn't just functional, it's a built-in mobility ritual that most people over 50 in the West are completely missing. It's called the futon flow, and it's based on how Japanese elders roll, shift, and transition in and out of traditional shikibuton floor bedding. Now, before you think this is irrelevant, because you sleep on a raised bed, listen closely. The movement pattern required to transition gracefully from a floor-level futon to a standing position involves an entire choreography of core strength, spinal articulation, hip rotation, and shoulder stability that we in the West largely lose after age 40. In Japan, where sleeping on the floor is still common well into old age, this daily rising ritual is practically a full-body neuromuscular assessment, and the practice of it maintains mobility, not just measures it. A clinical study from Nagoya University followed a group of seniors over a 10-year period and found that those who continued sleeping on futons had significantly greater spinal extension range, fewer reports of lower back stiffness, and even stronger scores in executive motor function compared to those sleeping on raised beds. And here's why. When you transition off a futon, you're not just using brute leg power like you do with a soft mattress. You're rotating, rolling to one side, pushing through the shoulder and elbow, engaging the obliques, then using dynamic hip and ankle mobility to rise. It's a movement that integrates the entire kinetic chain, from toe to fingertip. Japanese elders often pair this with a slow forward fold and seated spinal twist upon rising, effectively turning every morning into a yoga class without ever calling it that. And if you think this only benefits the spine, think again. Researchers now understand that transitional movement patterns like those involved in getting off the floor stimulate vestibular recalibration, aiding balance and coordination through subtle inner ear engagement. Here's how to get started, even if you don't sleep on the floor. Once a day, lay a yoga mat on the ground, lie flat, and practice rolling to your side and pushing yourself to standing, using as little momentum as possible. Reverse it to lie back down. That's it. 2 repetitions a day of this futon flow can retrain your body to move with grace, control, and balance, just like the elders of Kyoto, who rise from the floor every morning as if age never touched them. Number 3. The yukata reach and wrap. Shoulder mobility, hidden in a timeless dressing ritual. Now this one is pure elegance in motion, and most people outside of Japan have never heard of it. It's called the yukata reach, and it's embedded in a daily ritual, as old as the kimono itself. Every morning, thousands of Japanese elder don their yukata, a light, robe-like garment, and the way they do it has profound implications for joint health, posture, and even neurological coordination. You see, the traditional method of putting on a yukata, or kimono, involves a very specific sequence of reaching, wrapping, adjusting, and tying. The arms cross the midline of the body. The shoulders externally rotate. The wrists flex and extend in controlled ways. The spine twists gently, and the core stabilizes to maintain upright posture while wrapping the garment evenly. To the untrained eye, it's just dressing. But to kinesiologists and movement therapists, it's a complex mobility pattern that preserves shoulder joint function, upper back flexibility, and hand-eye coordination well into old age. According to a 2020 study published in the Journal of Functional Aging, Japanese elders who wore traditional clothing at least 3 times a week retained over 30% more shoulder flexion and rotation range than those who wore Western-style garments daily. And women who regularly performed yukata wrapping showed higher coordination scores and fewer hand dexterity issues, even into their 80s. This is crucial, especially for people over 50, because one of the earliest declines in aging isn't just strength, it's shoulder range of motion, particularly the ability to reach behind the back, lift overhead, and rotate without impingement. The yukata reach naturally trains these movements without any equipment, stress, or strain. Better yet, it stimulates cross-body movement, which strengthens the corpus callosum, the bridge between left and right hemispheres of the brain, enhancing neuroplasticity, especially when done mindfully. Want to recreate it? Here's a tip. Take a long scarf or belt, hold it behind your back with one hand reaching over the shoulder and the other from the waist. Try to pull gently and switch sides, or mimic the wrap sequence using a robe, focusing on slow, deliberate motions and breath control. It's dressing, yes, but it's also rehabilitation. Japanese elders don't treat movement as separate from life. Every gesture, every ritual, every tradition is an opportunity to move with intention, and in doing so, they stay graceful, strong, and sharp. The yukata reach may be quiet, but its effects echo through every joint in your upper body, and once you feel it, you'll understand why some of the oldest, healthiest people on earth have never once set foot in a physical therapy clinic. Number 2. The Gen Conan bow, daily forward fold, that rebuilds spinal health, hip function, and humility. Now this one might just be the most invisible yet powerful movement in Japan, something so culturally embedded, so subtle, you'd never recognize it as exercise. It's the Gen Conan bow, the slow, intentional forward fold, performed at the threshold of almost every Japanese home. You see, the Gen Conan is the entryway where shoes are removed, and this moment of pause where one bends at the hips, sometimes with a small bow, sometimes to remove or place shoes, has become a daily ritual for mobility, mindfulness, and connection. But mechanically, it's so much more. It's a controlled hip hinge, a movement that re-engages the posterior chain, the glutes, hamstrings, spinal erectors, while lengthening the spine and decompressing the lumbar discs. In the West, we've replaced this with the mindless toe touch, or avoided bending entirely. But in Japan, elders perform this exact fold multiple times per day, without strain or stiffness. A study out of Kobe University found that Japanese seniors who engaged in daily forward folds, even just 3-5 times a day, during shoe removal, had lower rates of discompression, fewer incidents of lumbar stenosis, and even reported less dizziness due to enhanced blood flow and autonomic nervous system recalibration. And it makes sense. The forward fold not only stretches major muscle groups, but also resets the vestibular system, improves baroreceptor sensitivity, which controls blood pressure regulation when changing positions, and enhances mind-body awareness. There's also something deeply therapeutic about lowering the head below the heart for just a few seconds. It's calming, grounding, and neurologically soothing. Want to try it? Skip the gym and practice this instead. Stand barefoot, feet shoulder-width apart, and slowly hinge forward at the hips, not rounding the spine, but folding with a long, flat back. Let your hands hover near your knees, ankles, or floor, whatever's comfortable. Breathe into the stretch, then rise slowly, one vertebra at a time. Do this every time you take off or put on your shoes. That's your Gen Conan bow. This isn't about touching your toes. It's about reclaiming control over your spine and reconnecting with the earth beneath your feet. In Japan, the simple act of entering and exiting a home becomes a full-body alignment tool, physical, spiritual, and social. And if done mindfully, it can be the single best thing you do all day for your lower back, your posture, and your peace of mind. Aging doesn't shrink the spine. Disuse does. Bow, breathe, and rise again. That's the Japanese way. Number 1. The chopstick precision grip. Finger dexterity. Exercise that protects the brain. Let's end on something so simple, so routine, you might laugh until you see the science. It's the daily use of chopsticks, but not just for eating. In Japanese culture, especially among elders, using chopsticks for fine motor challenges has become a stealth cognitive training practice. It's called Hashi Taiso chopstick exercise, and it's not just about food. It's about maintaining neuromuscular finesse, hand-eye coordination, and cortical brain stimulation. Here's what it looks like. Picking up small objects like beans, marbles, bits of paper, or even soft sponge cubes, using chopsticks, transferring them from one bowl to another, sorting them by color or size, and doing it all slowly and deliberately. To a Western observer, it might look like occupational therapy, but to a Japanese elder, it's just another daily ritual done at the table while chatting, listening to the radio, or preparing a bento box. And the benefits? Astonishing. A 2019 clinical trial conducted in Tokyo found that seniors who practiced Hashi Taiso daily for just 10 minutes had 27% higher scores on cognitive flexibility, 40% better hand grip precision, and most stunningly, slower progression of dementia symptoms compared to those who didn't. Why? Because fine motor tasks, like chopstick work, activate the primary motor cortex, prefrontal cortex, and cerebellum, the trifecta of motor planning, decision-making, and coordination. That's the same trio involved in walking safely, dressing independently, and reacting to sudden changes in environment. In simpler terms, using chopsticks, keeps your brain young. But there's more. The pinch grip and pincer strength required for precise chopstick use also maintain healthy circulation to the fingertips, reduce arthritis stiffness, and preserve the micro muscles in the hands that most people lose by age 70. And yes, the act of eating with chopsticks itself slows down meals, improves satiety signals, and reduces digestive strain. Want to incorporate this? Set aside 5-10 minutes a day. Place a few dry beans, coins, or paper clips in a bowl. Use chopsticks to sort them, stack them, or move them between dishes. Do it with your non-dominant hand, too. This isn't just hand training, it's brain insurance. In Japan, elders don't just lift weights. They lift pebbles with chopsticks. And those tiny movements might be why they maintain independence, memory, and finger function decades longer than the rest of the world. Precision movement is precision aging. Start small, think big. So here's the truth. You don't need to run marathons, deadlift your body weight, or waste another dollar on a fancy fitness app. The Japanese elders, who live into their 90s and beyond, with clear minds, strong legs, and steady hands. They're not fighting aging. They're moving with it, intelligently, consistently, and quietly, one small habit at a time. And now you have every one of those secrets. 10 movements. No sweat, no pain, no gym. Just daily, natural motion that tells your body, I'm still here. I'm still in control. Because losing mobility after 50 isn't inevitable. It's a choice, and so is getting it back. If you found even one of these movements helpful, drop a comment below with the number you're starting today. I read every one, and I want to hear your story. And if you're serious about staying sharp, strong, and independent for decades to come, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because this isn't just another health video. This is a blueprint for living well, no matter your age. Take control. Start now. And remember, you don't grow old because you move less. You move less because you gave up moving. Don't stop. Keep going. Your best years are still ahead.